Well, it's Friday and I'm Del Shores.
And I'm Emerson Collins, and you're watching The Del and Emerson Show.
Straight talk.
Real gay! Well, it's
Woo.
Friday before a holiday weekend.
I know, it's the 3rd. I gotta hurry and get up to Mount Rushmore. So just get this show going, please, Emerson. I got a plane to catch.
Yeah, get right on before you miss it. This holiday weekend, I just end up feeling stressed out because I know it means a whole lot of people are going to do a whole lot of stupid things.
It's just ridiculous what people are doing. I mean, I have to tell you something. I didn't tell you this today, so it's a good time to tell you. Our friend McGee, who is in Mississippi right now, I was telling her about the Corona parties that the students in Alabama were having. And she said, thank God for Alabama. They just make Mississippi look a little bit better.
A little bit. A little bit.
She said that but she was happy about the flag, though. She was like,
yes. And related to the 4th, though, like this weekend was always like Darwin Awards weekend anyway. I mean, in a normal year, you just wait for the stories to roll in of some moron who said, watch this, and then some sort of firework accident immediately followed. Like you can just sit outside an ER and watch him roll in like, oh, that one lost a finger. Oh, that one stuck a Roman candle in his butt and it went shot the wrong way. Whatever.
Well, I heard a tip today that really is specifically geared towards what's going, this pandemic that's going on. They were serious on the radio saying, be sure that if you alcohol your hands, do not light fireworks right afterwards. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Someone is going to light. They're going to go, oh, I got to be careful about this corona. Woo!
Be like, and just up in flames. Like I'm a flamer, but that's a little too literal for me. I don't need it to be actual flames.
Yeah, fire is not. It's not something that I am. I don't love fire. It's like.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to. It's like should be pretty from afar. You shouldn't be intimate with it.
Yes. So anyway, I'm noticing I'm not completing any sentences, and you always challenge me to complete sentences. So I'm going to work harder, y'all. So you can. I just expect you to fill in the blanks. That's the way it is.
The amount of we've been doing this a long time, as you know, and so good 95% of the time I know where the train is headed. But once in a while, I do have to say, I don't know who she is. Or what this, I'm gonna need a little more of the given circumstances for this story.
You know what it really is? It's when, I have that thing that I actually write like this too, where you're talking about something, but something in this sentence reminds you of something, in 1983. And you just don't even say, back in 1983, you just kind of continue a story. And yeah.
Yep.
I worry about myself, Emerson. I do.
I don't. Not for that.
So what do we have? Do we have?
Well, hey, everybody, wherever you are, we hope that your Friday is going well. If you're watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope, on Twitter, thank you for being with us. Please feel free to share the broadcast. If you have questions or comments, you can write them. If we find them entertaining, we'll address them. We're going to have a tiny bit shorter show today because Blake and I are doing a private concert for our dear friend Rich Wiseman's birthday at 5 o'clock. So we got to jump off to prepare to sing some show tunes for our nearest and dearest.
Oh, I wasn't invited. No, I'm kidding. I really was. I love Rich Wiseman. I'm so happy. Happy birthday, Rich.
I'm very excited. We're doing a bunch of stuff we've never done before. So it will be really fun.
Yeah. Well, this is good. This is good. I can't wait to hear the song selection because it's going to be a whole evening of songs for me because I'm actually watching Hamilton as well tonight.
Yes, that's our late night plan as well.
So,
all right. Well, let's get on to the LGBTQ news and nonsense. We're moving into July. Our official Pride and Protest series is done, but as long as there is need for more Pride and as there continue to be protests, we'll be talking about them. And first up, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, run by that moron brain surgeon, Ben Carson, wants to give homeless shelters back the ability to discriminate against trans people. The Equal Access Rule was implemented in 2012 under President Obama's administration that prevented shelters that receive funding from HUD from discriminating on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. It also required that people in single-sex or sex-segregated shelters be placed according to their identity, as trans and gender non-conforming people often experience harassment and violence when placed according to the sex they were assigned at birth. Now, HUD is seeking to allow single-sex or sex-segregated shelters that receive federal funding the ability to voluntarily establish a policy that will govern admissions determinations for situations when an individual's gender identity does not match their biological sex. Basically, they can decide, the person can't. So HUD claims it will not allow discrimination based on orientation or identity, but LGBTQ activists say the new rule will lead to trans people being turned away, trans women being forced into housing for men, or trans men into housing for women. It will also affect gender non-conforming and non-binary people. Ben Carson said the rule would better accommodate shelter operators' religious belief. And that's the point. Like, that's the real point of this. They want religious shelters to be able to violate the identity of trans people based on their personally held religious belief. And this is a really big deal because homelessness is a problem and safety is an issue for trans people when forced into spaces that don't align with their gender identity. And in the middle of a pandemic, it makes it even worse. They want to be able to discriminate against trans people and decide for them what their identity is. And trans people are disproportionately affected by homelessness because of personal rejection, because of difficulty in employment, because of working in sex work. And so this is a particular target at them. There's no other way to look at it.
Do you think there's a little bit of a clapback for the Supreme Court decision the other day, that there's going to be more of this?
Honestly, yes. And we've seen this administration attempt multiple times in multiple ways to allow people basically outs or caveats for personally held religious beliefs. This administration has made it a clear priority of theirs to allow people the right to discriminate if it's based in religion. And this is another element of that, targeting the most vulnerable and marginalized in our community. In a time when, like here in California, Gavin Newsom is creating, they're taking over motels to give homeless people places to stay. This is specifically targeting homeless trans people.
All right.
Garbage.
Yes. And in Texas, our home state, that we fled from, two Texas-based LGBTQ Facebook groups, LGBT San Antonio and LGBT Houston, have been sharing Islamophobia. Did I say that? Islamophobic post, and post accusing Black Lives Matter movement of trying to destroy churches and American society in general. The LGBT Houston Facebook group asks prospective members looking to join, "We do not support Black Lives Matter, do you?" A post on its page reads, "Black Lives Matter planning to burn down your church." And in Christianity, another post declares Black Lives Matter is funded by Islam, aka ISIS. They are planning on burning places of worship soon. Post of LGBT on the LGBT in San Antonio page asked whether racial justice protesters will try and tear down the Statue of Liberty, and whether Black Lives Matter more than lives of Asians or the unborn. One LGBT San Antonio post links to an article stating that Black Lives Matter protesters want to take down statues of white Jesus. A separate comment posted by the LGBT San Antonio page moderator reads, "Martin Luther King would be rolling in his grave over how you are pushing civil rights movement back into the Stone Ages. We achieved marriage equality, interracial marriage, and even a Black president by not acting criminal or rioting. Don't bring up Stonewall. That was over 50 years ago. Black Lives Matter even has the LGBT community acting like toddlers, throwing a tantrum instead of registering to vote or peacefully protesting. The Facebook groups do not appear to be associated with any LGBTQ nonprofit organizations in Texas." And I have to tell you, Emerson, I didn't get to the Houston one yet, but I did a little digging on the San Antonio one. It seems like to me that it's run by one specific person, and it's like a personal Facebook page, the way they post. And I actually went on and I said something about it. I said, I want to know who runs this page. DM me. We need to talk, because this is personal belief system. This does not represent the LGBT community. And I found that white Jesus shit. And that was like, I'm like, first of all, it sounds like to me that they're very religious, whomever it is that is running it, and they're anti-abortion, they're anti-pro-choice. I mean, there's all these beliefs that belief systems that tie to a very specific religious person. So, first of all, I want to say, if you are going to put a page up that says LGBT San Antonio, make sure that you're associated with someone other than your individual self. That's bullshit. So, because they're getting a lot of clapback on that page. I mean, people are saying, you don't represent, this is not how we believe. And it's all about the all lives matter. There's a lot of that shit. So anyway.
Well, and it's extremely important because, like, first of all, Jesus wasn't white. Like, you're not even a good religious person. There's no way. Jesus was not white. I'm sorry you saw that picture in your Bible, in your picture Bible growing up. Jesus wasn't white, regardless of where he was. And then this is really important because, you know, when we talk about within the community, right? That we as white gay people, white cis gay people, this kind of attitude ignores that people of color exist in our community, that Black people exist in our community, that it is these people that we have to make sure we shut down and fight against. And to bring up Martin Luther King is some bullshit. It's that thing that people do on Martin Luther King Day every year, where they pull out his peace quotes and ignore the fact that probably the most important thing for all of us to be aware of with Martin Luther King related to right now is what he said about white moderates, that white moderates were the most dangerous thing to the momentum of movement and change, because they're the people who say, make sure you use the right tone of voice, make sure that you don't upset people as you protest. And Stonewall was 50 years ago. Yeah, and you only get to have this page because of what those people did at Stonewall. Yeah. You don't have to agree with every aspect of every protest or whatever, but to say that rioting doesn't gain enough tension to force change is ridiculous.
Do you? I want to ask you something, because we haven't talked about this privately. But would you ever want someone like that runs that page to come on this show to discuss this, or you?
Well, no, they don't matter. They are nobody. No.
Okay. All right. Just wonder. I mean, because
they're not famous enough for that to be interesting.
Okay. All right.
They're just one piddly peon. Like, let people fight on their page and whatever, but no, they're not worth our time.
All right. Okay. Well, I know, because we did early on in our show when we were on the other network. We had somebody from some conversion therapy, and that did not go well. I lost my fucking mind.
Yeah. So, but that wasn't just an opinion. That was somebody actually working and running and involved in. Like,
that we knew, or I knew.
That's somebody with power. This, we can shit on their parade on our show in 5 minutes. I don't have anything else to say to that person.
Okay. All right. Well, I kind of do.
Like, you can get in the comments on their Facebook page like you enjoy doing and let them have it.
Yeah. And okay. All right. Enough of this rant, because I could go on. Jeff Rain says, unfortunately, Texas is a mess right now. Our lieutenant governor says he knows what is better for Texas than medical experts in regards to COVID-19. And where does he get that? I mean, they get it right from the top. I mean, Trump actually knows better. And that stupid woman who is the governor of South Dakota, she thinks she knows better. It's just ridiculous.
You know what I blame? WebMD. WebMD made everybody think that they were suddenly an expert and a doctor. It's like people got too much information on diagnosing various things, and now everybody thinks they know stuff. And Texas, of course, now Governor Abbott finally said, wear your masks, and now the conservatives are mad at him. Poor man, the liberals have hated him forever, now the conservatives do. He doesn't have a fan left.
Well, and I'm just going to say it. And people can be mad at me. I'm just going to say, we got an election in 2020. All you fuckers who think that you don't have to wear a mask because your party and your president doesn't, well, we're going to vote, and we're going to still be here to vote. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
Y'all get invited to one of those Corona parties. Go ahead and go.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
you might win. You might win the prize.
Yeah.
All right. And quick international news. A fun in Gabon, in Central Africa, last week, the National Assembly voted in favor of a bill that would legalize sexual relationships between two people of the same sex. Yeah, the Senate passed it as well, and the president is expected to sign it. What's frustrating for their community about this is that their ban on homosexuality is not some leftover colonial era law. It was passed quietly in the summer of 2019. Last year, it was passed, making it a punishment of up to 6 months in prison for homosexuality. Local activists say the law was quickly used to persecute LGBTQ people in the Christian majority country. So this is undoing a thing from last year, but it's a great reminder that our achievements here and around the world, all of them can be rolled back if we do not stay vigilant. It is why it matters that we continue to stay loud and proud and on top of continuing to advance equality for all aspects of our communities.
All right. Okay, well, we've got more Facebook news. This was like crazy when I was reading this last week, or this week, I guess. Facebook has been lambasted for a while now for its unwillingness and inability to deal with hate speech and misinformation. So Stop Hate for Profit campaign was organized earlier this month by several civil rights groups, including the Anti-Defamation League, the NAACP, Free Press, and Color of Change. Many big budget advertisers, including Starbucks, Ford, Coca-Cola, Honda, and Verizon, are pulling their ads from the platform throughout the month of July. Organizers justify the boycott by acknowledging that the social media platform incited violence against protesters after George Floyd's death and ignored voter suppression in the last two elections. So last week, Zuckerberg stated in a Facebook post that the company is prohibiting a wider category of hateful content in ads. Furthermore, the company claims they will put warning labels on posts from political candidates or office holders who are known to convey inappropriate behavior. He wrote, "We'll allow people to share this content to condemn it, just like we do with other problematic contents, because this is as important as this is an important part of how we discuss what's acceptable in our society, but we'll add a prompt to tell people that the content that they're sharing may violate our policies." Still, while Facebook says they're going to apply these policies to ads, the changes will hardly do much to combat hate speech within groups or posts where it is a far more significant and systemic, significant and systemic issues. The Stop Hate for Profit campaign points out. I read that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's really interesting, you know, because like Twitter's been working really hard and Facebook's been dragging its heels, and it seems like they're stuck in this. We're just a platform, and anybody can do whatever they want and say whatever they want, and then anybody can counter that. And my initial instinct is I do lean in the direction of let people say terrible and stupid things and let other people hold them accountable. It's not constitutional free speech like people claim because the government's not regulating it. But there does reach a point where deplatforming people, deplatforming hateful organizations does matter. You look at people that once they get banned from Twitter, they stop being a part of the cultural conversation. And it's time for Facebook to admit, with your a billion whatever viewers, participants around the world, that you do have a responsibility beyond simply like, well, we're here and y'all do what you want and don't like a page you don't want to see, that they step up more than they have to combat things that really are impacting all the way up to an election. You know, a false information being promulgated by a whole bunch of people who don't know better, finding the balance between people holding it accountable and the platform holding it accountable is something they have to keep working toward.
Well, it seems like, I mean, for a while, Zuckerberg seemed so stubborn about it all, and it was like, what the fuck? Everybody else is stepping up. Why aren't you? So maybe there's at least a little progress there, right?
Yeah. And relatedly, Reddit did the same thing this week in an effort to curtail hate speech there, because Reddit is certainly the wild, wild west, you know, of the major social media platforms. They shut down more than 2,000 communities or subreddits that have a history of hate speech. It included the subreddits Gender Critical, a TERF forum, and the Donald, an extremely pro-Trump forum. Subreddits are user-run communities, but Reddit administrators have the power to step in when the users break the site's rules. In this case, the company's argument for pulling these communities is that they broke several rules. They said all communities on Reddit must abide by our content policy in good faith. The Donald specifically has promoted hate speech even before the 2016 election, and it became a melting pot for very extreme political ideas. Gender Critical is one of the site's most active feminist communities for women-centered radical feminists, but they consistently spewed anti-trans rhetoric, with users denying that trans women are women, blasting gender-neutral or trans-inclusive language, and have had hateful discussions about denying trans women access to bathrooms. So seeing these platforms really strap up and say, we want these to be pretty free forums, but we're gonna draw the line a little earlier than we used to, is a great thing. Make those people go back and find dark corners to meet each other in. You can always meet in public. Have your little forums at your houses.
Without your mask.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stupid. Okay, it's like I'm on a tear today. I'm just on a bender. I'm just on a bender.
Well, me too. And the reason I've been so punchy, you know, with my personal mental health issues and my anxiety that I've been trying to get back under control, I realized social media makes it bonkers. Reading things and getting frustrated and wanting to weigh in and not weighing in. So I've just been ignoring it all, and I just read the news headlines. So this is my only outlet. So that's why y'all get it all at once.
Well, I have to tell you, today I did something. I just thought, you know what? It's Betty Buckley's birthday. And so on Twitter, instead of going after Trump, I just decided to post my love for Betty Buckley and a lot of her videos and her Tony speech. And it made me feel good.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, to celebrate somebody who's given me so much joy. So happy birthday, Betty Lynn Buckley. We share.
Absolutely. She sang one of her original songs on Scott's Desert AIDS benefit, and it was just jaw-dropping and heartbreaking. Just an icon.
73 today, and still with that voice just sailing.
Hell yeah.
All right, so a white woman, there's this white woman in Watson town, Pennsylvania, on a video during a Black Lives Matter protesting, doing, well, exactly what you would expect. The woman was part
of... Do you like that I wrote that for you? I just put it right in.
Thank you, Emerson. And I felt like I delivered it well, too. I just feel like
excellent. I didn't mean to interrupt the flow. Continue.
Well, you did. The woman was part of a group that was heckling the protesters at protest organized by If Not Us, Then Who. Some of the men standing behind the women are wearing a red Make America Great Again hat and another hat, this one cracked me up, that read, Re-elect Trump 2020, make liberals cry again. Another holds a sign that says, beer matters. It's okay to kill a beer. Sounds like some of my relatives. The video starts with a woman calling the protesters trash.
Sure.
I love anybody trash. As they chant, no justice, no peace. After a while, she shouts, fuck you. By the way, Emerson, I love that you put the little asterisk.
I didn't. That was in the cut and paste.
Okay, all right. I just thought, are you censoring me? We're gonna give you no peace, bitch. You fucking bitch. She flips them off and yells, you fucking communist. You live off of white people. What? So ignorant, it's just tragically funny. One of the protesters responded by telling her, we love you. And she responded by saying, fuck off, keep your HIV over there. Local police intervened and shut down 3 blocks of traffic after this woman and other counter protesters began confronting people marching for racial justice. I'm sorry. This is just so fucking ignorant.
It's bonkers. And then I go to, on the serious level, it's like this woman walked out of the middle of the 1980s with her, like, keep your HIV over there. And like, it displays her ignorance, but it's also like such an intense and important reminder of why there is still so much stigma around people living with HIV, because there are morons who literally, I bet she thinks you can get it easier than Corona because she sure didn't have on a mask.
And but it wasn't even it wasn't like an LGBT group or anything. It's just like, just throw that out there.
Yeah.
Like, all she needed was a Southern accent.
Karen gonna Karen.
There's a lot of Karens going on these days.
They are. And before I get to this next one, it's a great time to remind you, we love doing this, and I love finding the stories and keeping it fun and important and keeping you abreast of the situations. And if you're someone sitting at home with a good bit of money and you want to support the fact that we do this for free, you can tip us on Venmo to me at Emerson Collins, or you can use the PayPal to beardcollinshoresproductions@gmail.com. Yes, you have to write out the whole thing. It's in the banner at the bottom. We're incredibly grateful for those who can and do and choose to. It's how I'm buying my groceries. And if you can't, that's all right. Share the broadcast, tune in. We love your comments. That is just as important.
Because
Now, yes.
we do have fun doing this. It is an hour of, even though we get angry at some of the shit that is in the news, we actually really enjoy this. So I hope you do too. So
genuinely, I have chosen, I'm going to focus on this as my hour to talk about the things we can do, the things we should know about, rather than like spending my days piddling along on social media, giving myself anxiety since I couldn't get a telehealth appointment till the 13th. So I'm stretching it out, and this is our great time to talk at length about what we want to talk about.
Well, I mean, there's so many medical experts, Emerson. All you have to do is go to that website.
Oh, sure.
Please don't waste your time going to the doctor. All right.
Well, this next Karen has leveled up from the others. Self-described anti-vaxxer, because of course she is. Amber Lynn Giles went to coffee without a mask, and after being refused service by barista Lennon Gutierrez, she posted his photo and said, "Meet Lennon from Starbucks who refused to serve me because I'm not wearing a mask. Next time I will wait for cops and bring a medical exemption." Well, that made its way around the internet, and Lennon said his side of the story. It went like this. He said, "Before I could say anything, she flipped me off and said, 'I don't need one,' and she started cursing up a storm. She started calling people sheep, and she left, and within a few minutes came back and she asked me for my name and took a photo." Well, a GoFundMe for Lennon is now over $100,000. Well, anti-vaxxer Amber is pissed. And she did an interview saying, "I never threatened him. I just called him out on his actions. And I've received death threats, thousands, and it's very upsetting. It's very scary. I was denied and discriminated against." Here we go, off the deep end, y'all. It starts with coffee, but it ends with mandatory digital certificates and the mark of the beast, all of that forced vaccination stuff. She also told local media that she deserves some of the money as it's being raised off her name. Gutierrez has shared his thanks and says he'll use the funds to pursue a passion in dance and make donations to local San Diego organizations.
Oh,
but y'all,
so much. He's so cute, and it's like and the fact that he's like, "I'm going to use it for my dance, my passion for dance, because of my dance career, and going to make some donations." So y'all turn to Revelation. We're gonna. this is what this Amber Lynn.
Anti-vaxxer Amber, I want some of that money because I helped him earn it. Like, basically her theory now is, well, I did him a favor sharing his photo on the internet because he made $100,000, and I should get some for my pain and suffering before I get the sign of the beast and those mandated vaccines.
Here's my suggestion for Amber Lynn. Start your own fucking GoFundMe and see how much you raise. All right.
The sign of the beast. Although I got to tell you, the day they want us to get a chip in our hand, not because of the sign of the beast, but it's over for me. I'll be moving to Palm Springs, getting my thong and my sarong and sitting on the porch and being, nope, I am not doing that.
Well, there's, when they started the chips and the cards, there was this whole bunch of people. That's part of it. That's part of it. Next is, oh my goodness. All right.
My conspiracy theory ends that I can put down my cell phone and walk out of the house and the government doesn't know where I am. But, we're chipping our pets. The day we start chipping people, I'm out.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because I was reading something not too long ago where they were saying they should chip children in case they get lost.
I feel like we did a story about, or I read it, and I don't know if we talked about it here, that a company was like chipping employees. Nope, bye, I'm out. Me and anti-vaxxer Amber headed for the desert.
If you got to chip your kid, I don't think you're doing a very good job being a parent. I'm sorry. So all right. Here's some good news. This is some really good news. The Stonewall Inn, the first and only national LGBTQ monument, had started asking for donations earlier this month, and owners Kelly and Stacy Lynn started a GoFundMe to help the bar operational due to COVID-19. And now the Gill Foundation, which specializes in providing grants to queer organizations across the country, has pledged $250,000 to help pay their rent, utility bills during the shutdown. The foundation said, this makes me emotional, Stonewall is a cornerstone of LGBTQ history and it must be protected. LGBTQ history is American history. Queer people of color, including trans women of color like Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, and Miss Major, led the uprisings against police brutality at Stonewall, and in doing so, helped spark the movement for LGBTQ equality. We must preserve that history and the legacy of the activists who led the charge. So yes, 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 the Gill Foundation once again comes in and for the rescue, and we appreciate them.
Absolutely. And then in extremely serious news, and we keep adding these stories because it's important to pay attention to these people's names and to support them. An 18-year-old trans man named Christian Rouse was brutally attacked in Bakersfield, California. The attack hospitalized him for a month afterward. He is still in the hospital. Police haven't mentioned any suspects or made any arrests because he doesn't remember the attack at all. According to his mother, he always calls, and one day he didn't, so she and his ex-girlfriend went to his apartment to see if he was okay. They couldn't get in, so the ex climbed up the balcony and saw him lying on the floor. His mom said, "My child was on the floor. He could barely speak, barely breathe. He had marks on his neck. His face was swollen. He had bruises on his torso and his back, and his shirt was off. He's trans, and that is not a nice thing to do. He was on a ventilator for 4 weeks. He still can't fully use his right arm or leg, and he's unable to talk because of scar tissue in his throat. He's undergone a tracheotomy and will need surgery to remove that scar tissue. He is a high school student who was set to graduate this year. There's a GoFundMe. You search his name, Christian Rouse, Kristian, has raised over double its initial goal of $25,000 to cover the medical benefits. But let's be honest, he's going to need physical therapy and he's not going to be able to work, and finishing high school, this has set his entire life back. So if you can afford and can contribute, you can find him on GoFundMe to support his ongoing recovery.
Oh, a sad story. That's I love that mom though. Yeah. So back to Reddit, a user posed this question: what are things that every man should try, even though they are stigmatized as gay or unmanly? The answers were both hilarious and sad. One said, over the age of 30 and having friends and doing things with them, a couple of guys being friends and leaving the wives to go on a camping trip, etc., just seems weird. I miss having friends.
I mean, it's just so sad. Like, you're a 30-year-old man and you feel like it's unmanly for you to have friends and do things with them.
But camping is very manly,
right?
Well, except
it certainly is. I certainly can't get Blake, Scott, and Philip. We talked about trying to go camping. I'm the only one. They think camping means the doors are on the outside, like a motel.
I agree with them. Okay, so here's another one. Taking care of their skin and moisturizing was popular. One said, "Yo, since quarantine," it's like Vinny what's his name that John Travolta played on Welcome Back Kotter. "Yo, since quarantine, I've been doing face masks, using a tinted sunscreen, using a face wash." This is my favorite. "Using actual shampoo and conditioner, not the combo garbage, and a leave-in. I've literally never felt better about my appearance."
I love everybody. Like, oh, look, I have enough free time that fine. My girlfriend's been on me about, and so I'll try these things. And he's like, I love it. Pampering is not unmasculine.
And then we've got cooking and sewing got mentioned. Okay. It's
Yes.
washing your ass. Oh my God, I'm in such a mood today. This was not a joke. He clarified, I know several guys who use soap on their armpits and upper body, and then they say, the soap running down will clean everything else. Another one agreed, saying she knew a guy, he had never, ever washed his ass because only gays put their hand near their anus. Shampoo running down my back will do the job.
I have so many questions. Like, if getting your hand near your anus is a little bit gay, as Margaret Cho once said, do they wipe?
Yeah.
Are you just walking around with shit in your underpants all day, sir? Because like getting that hand, like, and where's the line, right? Like, is it like straight, gay? Like right after the hip, is it gay?
The line, yes, the line is the skid mark in their underwear. That's where the line is.
But just the logic of that, like the shampoo running down the back of my neck with that,
that'll do it.
With that dirty hair oil is gonna clean my butthole. Like, at what age did they go, oh, nope, no more?
Maybe it felt good, and they said, I can't do that. It feels.
That's what it is, because it's not straight or gay to like your butthole played with. Lots of straight guys learn.
Well, this next one's about that. It said, one said, y'all are not ready to hear this, but prostate orgasms. Get one of those toys made for that.
He leveled that up. He said, not only do I clean my butthole, now I play with it.
And then there was also mentioned yoga. It's just so silly. Cocktails. It's like, if it's not a beer.
Not a beer, it's gay.
Nice underwear. Not that Fruit of the Loom shit.
Not them Hanes that are flat front.
Yeah, wearing pink. Manicures. What's being the little spoon? I don't know what that means.
When you cuddle, the person on the back side is the big spoon. The person on the inside is the little spoon. Like cuddling with her behind you instead of her.
Well, it's just been a long time since I've been cuddled.
Been touched by anyone.
I haven't been the big spoon or the little spoon in many, many years now. And seeing a therapist, that's very gay, seeing a therapist. But worst of all, wearing a face mask. Woo!
Now, and like being real, I put this in because we like to lighten the show and have some entertainment. And it's like, it is hilariously sad that like having a cocktail or some like cuter underwear or wearing pink is y'all think gay. But it speaks to the toxic kind of masculinity, that there's only one kind of man you can be, a beer drinking, no feelings, Marlboro man out on the range. And it discourages all kinds of men, not just gay men. It's certainly within the gay community and the bi community, any men who identify as men have issues related to masculinity, but it impacts straight little boys. We've talked about it before, that little straight boy who might like flower arranging. It does not mean he's gay. That kid that's sensitive. You can be any version of sexuality and be any version of man. There certainly could be a man with traditionally feminine interests who's a very straight man. It's just silly and absurd to think that any of those things have anything to do with being a man.
I mean, if you look at Warren Beatty and Shampoo, he got laid a lot and he did hair.
That hairdresser, exactly. So stupid. And I'm glad that those straight guys are finding their fun and their zhuzh.
And washing their asses.
And enjoying a cocktail. I mean, Lord, make it with Everclear. You'd be burn the hair off your chest. All right. Well, and one more. I'm going to see if I can play this for y'all so you can see it while I talk about it. An incredibly homophobic ad is airing in Russia ahead of a very important July 1st vote. Well, behind. They just had a vote on constitutional amendments, one of which is a constitutional ban on same-sex marriage that is being pushed aggressively by Trump's dear friend Putin. In the ad, I'm gonna try to do this. Okay, I got it on mute, but you can watch it while I talk about it. Let's see if this works. It's spinning.
Come on, come on,
There's,
come on.
oh. Okay, she's going. Well, the stream is struggling. There she is. All right. In the ad, set in the year 2035, a woman is greeting on video an orphanage, and she shows a boy. Well, a man comes in and greets the boy, and we see him leaving with the boy, and standing in front, the woman is filming and an old lady who works there. The boy asks where his new mother is. Well, the new, quote, mom appears. There he is, a man wearing jeans, a billowy jacket, and makeup, clearly gay. The woman looks shocked. She sees him. The little boy looks sad, and the man tells the boy, don't be upset. The dad with the makeup then gets a little dress out of the car, implying that they're going to force the boy to dress like a girl to recruit him. Like, look at these women. The old lady who works in the orphanage. Okay, there we go. So see, we're getting out the dress. The women are just horrified, and she spits at him. Like, how absurd is this? And a voiceover asks, what Russia do you choose? Decide the future of the country. Vote for this amendment to the Constitution. The ad's funded by a group called Patriot defended the ad, saying they're not campaigning against homosexuals, but defending the Institute of Family as a union of a man and a woman. Y'all, this is airing on television in Russia. This isn't some fringe thing. This is like you're watching, CSI Russia, and up comes this ad against gay people adopting children. So the extremely intense campaign against LGBT people and what they call propaganda in Russia continues.
So, one more?
Yeah, we got time. Let's do it.
I love this story. So, because I'm sure most of them saw the viral video of two toddlers, Maxwell, who is black, and his friend Finnegan, I love his name, who is white, running down the street towards each other to hug. Well, Trump recently tweeted a doctored version of the video, which showed Maxwell running away from Finnegan and used the CNN logo with the fake headline, "Terrified Toddler Runs from Racist Baby." Twitter eventually flagged the tweet as deceptive, and eventually they even took it down at the request of Maxwell's dad. Michael Cisneros, the father of Maxwell, has gone public with his grievances, telling the Advocate, "We were hurt, saddened, and we felt nauseous, and we wanted to vomit." A video showed love, unity, and friendship that has inspired love and hope to millions was now doctored to further hate and racism. It was just heartbreaking to see. We will do whatever we can, whatever is needed to protect our children from this or anything else that attempts to bring them harm. Two lawyers have now begun to draft filings against Twitter, against the Twitter user Logan Cook, Donald Trump, as well as the Trump 2020 campaign. Attorney Van Johnson said the fact that Twitter and Facebook disabled this fake video within 24 hours of President Trump and his campaign tweeting it, coupled with Twitter permanently banning Cook, is very strong evidence that a jury will likely find all these people broke the law by using this video as advertisement and political propaganda.
It'll be interesting whether it falls under satire because they repurposed the original video, but I hope they win. I hope Trump loses money. And also like the trauma of that family who shared this lovely little video that certainly spoke to a lot of people, and abusing it, using the sticks for the rule of like children are supposed to be on limits in our culture wars, our political wars. And that's just shit.
It's just so repulsive. It feels like to me also because they used the CNN logo and had a fake headline on this. It seems like CNN could sue. I don't know.
I bet that's parody.
You're right.
But guess we'll see. Well, all right. Well, I gotta go because I gotta do a little concert.
I want to
say a huge thank you to Xana and to Ron Baker and to Michael Conklin for your contributions and donations to our effort as we wrap up the show. If you want to send a tip on Venmo at Emerson Collins or on PayPal, beardcollinshoresproductions@gmail.com. We are incredibly grateful.
We had a fun time today. We laughed and felt, and that's a good thing. So thank you for stopping by and visiting with us. And we'll see you on Tuesday, same time and same place.
Enjoy your holiday weekend safely and sanely and alonely and wearing masks. And then as we continue to fight on all these issues, do what you can, where you can, and do a little bit more than you thought you could.
And do not alcohol your hands and then light a firecracker.
Please don't be one of those people that we will definitely be telling the stories of on Tuesday who had fireworks accidents.
Happy 4th, y'all.
Bye.